once again, this is Turkey here, the spokesperson for the American Cultural History and or Cultural Memory Complaint Department. And we're following up on some information we provided for Thursday, yesterday, Halloween 2024. Today, we'll read on the NPR, that is the National Public Radio Station, that Democratic lawmakers report Thanksgiving bomb threats. Yes, and this is very important for us to clarify in relationship to the American Cultural Tradition and Cultural Memory Project that the American Cultural Tradition and or Cultural Memory Complaint Department addresses. So we're going to provide that information for you today as expediently and as accurately as possible. First of all, the American Cultural Tradition and or Cultural Memory Department wishes to remind you that historically the cultural tradition of bomb threatening belongs to white racists who traditionally have bomb-threatened members of the African American community. And we want you to remember and recall, this is part of our campaign and part of our raison d'etre, which is a French expression which means reason for being around. And our raison d'etre is to inform you of these cultural traditions and their various forms, methods, ideologies, functions, and availabilities within our contemporary culture. So to remind you that in the 60s, for example, and the important historical moment of the liberation of the freedom fighters, we can call them freedom fighters, I do believe, yes, the freedom fighters involved in transforming the American culture from being a bigoted, racist, more or less a sort of apartheid. And typically, this movement was referred to as the civil rights movement. Many of the challenges that the members of the civil rights movement had were based on threats and intimidations of physical violence, from the bombing of Black Baptist schools and the murder of women and children attending those churches and schools, to assassination attempts and successful assassinations of various civil rights leaders, such as Martin Luther King Jr., Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and Malcolm X, and others, many others. And those threats of violence, they were let's not even call them threats. Those acts of violence were often carried out by mobs of angry white men. And when they weren't carried out by mobs of angry white men, they were carried out by gangs of angry white policemen. So we propose that it's our duty to how should I put this? Congratulate the American racist public for expanding its tradition and threatening these white democratic politicians, and doing so on a national holiday, the national holiday of Thanksgiving, and thus conjoining two great American cultural traditions, the white racist male cultural tradition of terrorism and the tradition of an imaginary shared meal between the pilgrims and the natives, which I suppose in some ways is a justification or a mask for the racial and cultural violence inflicted upon the Native Americans by such entities as the Puritans and others who colonized this country, stole its land, and justified it in the name of the turkey. And as a turkey, I must say something about this. I really don't like being a spokesperson for colonial violence. And I know I appear to look like a chicken. I think I explained this in our last installment. There is no apple emoji that represents a turkey, and therefore I've had to utilize this chicken, but I'm actually a turkey. As we were saying, the more egalitarian and racially liberal approach now of bomb-threatening white male Democrat politicians should be, I suppose, taken as a kind of progress on the part of those individuals who produce racial terrorism and racial violence. If these individuals are, brought to justice by the FBI, who knows? President-elect Donald J. Trump may decide that along with the January 6ers, they all deserve a pardon, just like some of my cousins were pardoned yesterday at that ceremonial pardon of turkeys. Alright, that's basically all that we have to say for today. If you want more information on these bombings, you can look them up on the National Public Radio site on the internet, and I'm sure elsewhere. Have a good day. Oh, it is Black Friday. Be sure to get out there and purchase all of those Christmas presents that were made in China, and because you might not have the opportunity to purchase them next year. Next year they'll all be tariffed, and every single thing, from jelly beans to popcorn to pretzels, will all cost you $88.92. Have a good day. Black Friday.